Hello, welcome to Moist Nougat. I am the kid.
And I'm DanLee.
Yep, DanLee's surprise guest. Uh,
Yeah.
he's helping me in a pinch this week because my schedule's been totally thrown off by the going and looking at houses and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So I
That's
texted,
time.
huh?
That's time consuming.
Yeah, especially when you're driving like an hour and 15 minutes from
Right.
the house to look at places and then back and well, we went
Right.
Friday. I won't get into it too much, but we went Friday and basically ate up the whole day. So all my Friday, like video stuff and all that didn't happen. So it all happened on Saturday, and I kind of ran out of steam and ran out of time.
Yeah.
It got to be like 9 o'clock at night on Saturday, and I was like, I don't know if I have it in me to do the podcast tonight. And
Yeah.
then just have other stuff going on. Um, But yeah, I'll get into some of that stuff here in a little bit. DanLee made a bonsai trip to North Carolina and back.
Yeah.
Would you left Sunday morning and came up and then went back? When did you leave? You left yesterday. Today is
Yeah.
Wednesday, by the way. So
Yeah.
I'm way behind schedule.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess you are.
Yeah.
Oh
Um,
well, that happens. I mean, schedules are great to keep, but hard to keep.
yeah, when you got the whole house hunting thing going on.
Right.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
came up Sunday. Unfortunately, we didn't get time to hook up because it was a bonsai trip.
Yeah.
You came up
Yes.
for to get some stuff out of storage and take care of
Hmm.
a few DMV things.
Yeah. Yeah. I was fortunate that the DMV went as good as it did. I mean, there was one point where I thought, "Oh no, I don't know how many days I'm going to stay here until I finally get something resolved." But it all happened in one day, so that was good.
Did you make it to? You called me Monday, I guess, Monday afternoon. Did you make it down
Uh,
to Lincolnton to take care of that?
I went to Lincolnton. I followed uh, what I thought would be my best option, and then I find out that the office in Mooresville, North Carolina, was closed. And they've closed certain offices. Um, Maybe so many people are doing it online that th- it greatly diminishes the crowds that they have.
Yeah,
And
well, I
that,
mean, you can register your vehicle, and well, you can re-register. I don't. I think it's the first time around you have to go in.
yeah, I would imagine that. Sure.
But yeah,
Sure.
we do ours online every year. They mail it, and
Uh-huh.
of course, you got to get your car inspected, and then
Yeah.
once you get it inspected, you can go online and do it, and then they just mail it to you. But now, as far as
Right.
renewing your license, though, did you make it down there to do that?
No, that I ran out of time. I ran out of time because when I did go to get the car inspected just around the corner from my son-in-law's house. Um, he said go to this place. They'll get you through really quick, and they did. So from there, I just hightailed it to Lincolnton, North Carolina, and went to the DMV there. And the line was moving very quickly. They had five ladies sitting there going next, next, next. So everything was moving.
Now,
And
was that the tag office? Because I thought you had to register your car.
I just needed a new registration.
Yeah,
So,
are they not doing a separate tag office now?
oh, the tag office is separate from, the testing and the eye exam and all that stuff.
All right.
So, so yeah, the paperwork end of it is all separate at the tag office, and so that works well, I guess. It's not all under one roof, and maybe that's their long term goal to get newer buildings all under one roof, but sometimes
I heard that they were going to go start doing appointments at the DMV, which would be nice.
that's what uh, the kid's sister, Shannon. Yes, sir. She said that to me. She goes, I think you need an appointment. I'm like, no, don't tell me I need an appointment.
I don't
How
know if
far
they've started it
out are
yet, but
those?
I heard through the grapevine that they were talking about doing an appointment, which would be
Yeah,
nice. But you're going to go there and your appointment's at 10 a.m. and you're probably not going to see anybody until 11 a.m. anyways. But
sure.
it's better than just going in there and just not knowing like you're going to be here for 4 hours or the whole
Oh,
day.
yeah. Problem is, I mean, it by the nature of it, it goes pretty quick. Either you have everything you need or you don't, and
Right.
they're gonna review it. Well, in my case, they needed to do something with the insurance company.
Yeah.
So I called my wife. I said, "Hey, these people are seeing a problem that happened on the 6th of January this year. There's some kind of problem there, and get a hold of our insurance company, find out what happened on the 6th of January, and get it corrected, and then notify, uh, send out a blanket of uh, fax, I guess, to it does a blanket thing to all the DMVs
Yeah.
in North Carolina. They never got it. So I sat down and I waited and I thought, well, okay, I'll just wait here. The line's getting really thin. I'll wait till the line gets super thin. Then I'll just get up and go, do you have it now? Because my wife told me it was only going to take 15 minutes from the time that she was talking to me. It should be in your computers. She said she checked and double checked. No, there's nothing there. I thought, oh no, great. If they failed once, why did they fail?
Yeah. There's no
So
telling.
So I called her back and I said, "Look, they gave me a card. And it's like a VS1 or an SV1. Uh, they need to review that, look at what we have, review that, and then make sure they get this VS or SV1." And uh, so I sat down and I waited, and I thought, people were coming into the tag office, and there's me sitting in. There's a whole row of chairs, and I'm the only guy sitting in the chair.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Are you next?" I go, "No, no, I'm waiting on something." So I waved a lot of people past me, and I thought, I'm going to sit here just a little bit extra long. Hopefully they've received it, but I don't want to have to keep getting up and then re-sitting down. So I just played it cool, sat there, got up and went through. I was like, "Great, you received it, wonderful." Got that done. So I got the little sticker for the corner of the tag on the car, and brand new registration. So all is well there. And I thought about going to get my driver's license renewed, and I'm thinking, I'm running out of time. I can't do it.
Yeah.
So I just had to uh, take off, get back to the storage unit, get there, get everything in my car. I filled my car up so much that I had to call John for help. He had to come and pick up my bicycle and the bike rack. I had never experimented with that bike rack. And so I was like, I bought it at a used stuff store. And I'm thinking, no, no, this is a recipe for failure. I need to spend time, put it on, drive it around, see if there's any problems. And I'm just not going to go down with a bike hanging on the back of my car that might fall off in the middle of an interstate and create.
Fuck it.
Yeah, really. So it's like, no, I'm just going to leave it.
Well, I was going to
And
ask if you got the bike down there, but you already answered the question.
Right, right. So, uh, I am going to have to go back, I believe. There's a few documents we're looking for, and with those, I might be able to get my license online.
I don't know
Uh,
if you can.
I mean, it always requires an eye exam, doesn't it?
Yeah, and you gotta, do the road signs or whatever.
Sure. So,
And that's basically it.
so, and I've got, so that lands on my birthday in April, halfway through April. So, I'm not going to worry about it for right now, but I'm
Well,
going
you
to
got a
have
little time.
got a little time. Like to plan it so that we can come up, see everybody. I get that done, and then come back, and not feel like I have to race everywhere I'm doing.
Right.
Now, if what I did pick up at mini storage was hopefully I was going to find all the paperwork I needed to just go to the office here in Florida and get my Florida driver's license. I'm just getting everything done on the car in North Carolina just to buy myself time.
Right. Yeah. Well, if you can get your Florida license, then you got to switch everything to Florida, but
Right,
which
exactly.
sucks
But
because you had to pay all that money to re-register at North Carolina, and then
yeah,
because
but
they don't
that's
give you no money back.
no, God, no. And one of the things I learned was, typically I would think that, okay, I'm going to uh, switch over to, let's say I was ready to switch over to Florida. Well, in my mind, I would think that let me just call my insurance company first and cancel the insurance, and then send the tags in.
Yeah.
And that's a major no. No, always got to send the tags in first.
Yeah, technically, but I guarantee there's people driving around without insurance. I don't know how they swing it because if I canceled my insurance or my insurance lapsed or something like that, the cops would probably be knocking at my door 10 minutes later.
Yeah,
But
you
some
would
people
think.
just drive around uninsured somehow, and I guess it just takes getting pulled over and to have them run it,
Yeah,
you know.
right.
But yeah, I mean
So,
it's a racket. I mean, one time in New York, I remember going to the DMV, and it was I had gotten a different car or something like that, and they were giving me the runaround, and of course they were classic bitches at that place. I mean,
yeah,
they got off on just being a pain in the ass to everybody that walked in.
yeah,
But she told me something about this and that, and so I went over and I took care of that at the insurance office because it was a small town, so I just like basically walked over to and got
right.
the documents I needed and had to pay whatever whatever it was. I can't even remember, it was so long ago. But I went back and then she told me that wasn't what I needed, and I'm like, that's what you just told me like an hour ago.
Right.
I got so mad I wadded up the paperwork that she gave me and I threw it at her and walked out.
Wow.
Yeah, and there's county sheriffs that hang out in that building. I thought, sure as shit, I'm gonna end up getting arrested, but I was so hot.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. I mean,
it's screwed
I,
up down here because they have the tag office and the DMV. Like up in New York, you just go to the DMV and that's where you take care of all your car stuff.
right.
The
I,
Department of Motor Vehicles, but for some reason down here, the tag offices are a privately owned company or
oh,
companies that
uh-huh.
take care of the tags. And man, you don't want to have to go to the tag office in Gastonia. It's actually
Yeah,
at the mall.
I can imagine.
It's actually at the mall.
Is it really?
Yeah. You walk in one of the entrances of the mall, go up the stairs, and the DMV's like the first, and it's always just packed.
That's sad.
And it's just
That's
full of
sad.
chairs, and you just plan on sitting there for, you sign in when you
Yeah.
first walk in, and then they call you up when it's your turn.
Right.
And they even have the screen so you can see, like, you're looking at, like, I'm 279, and they're at 1.
Well, at least they're at one.
I've
They've
been
started.
been here an hour and a half. They're at 3.
Yeah,
So
nice. things are going well.
And I always wondered, because I always have tried to go there as early as possible. I actually went there one day, like a half hour before they opened.
And
Walked
that
in the entrance to the mall, walked up the stairs, and there was already a line. And they hadn't even
no,
unlocked the doors yet.
no
And I'm
kidding.
like, holy shit.
Yeah, I figured.
But what happens if you're sitting there, okay, and they close at 5, and you've been sitting there for 4 hours?
You're screwed.
Yeah. I mean, I would be pissed.
Oh yeah, I'm
I
sure.
mean, they should cut people off at a certain time, like, like 4 o'clock, where nobody else comes in after 4 o'clock, unless there's like hardly anybody in there, which is never. And
Right.
then everybody that's in here, everybody that's signed in, we're going to take care of your business unless there's an issue and we can't.
That's the common sense way to do it.
Well, that's, the polite way to do it. I mean, you can't make somebody sit around for 4 hours, take a half a day off work or whatever,
Yeah.
and then, get
And
fired
then
from your job because you had to take a week off to get your tags renewed.
really, it's crazy.
But I guess that's enough about DMV.
It's always a tough conversation because you walk in there feeling not good about it to begin with.
Well, yeah, you generally know that you're going to have to spend money.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
that's definitely given.
like the registration, I mean, the last several years, the registration
Hmm.
on both of our cars, the registration is only like $30 or $35. The
Uh-huh.
goddamn taxes are like 40,
Right,
and
right.
it's like the taxes are more than the actual fee for the freaking registration.
Right.
And you're basing my car's value off what? So you're telling me my
Hmm.
car's worth X amount of dollars, and it's like, I bet you I could take it to any dealership and they wouldn't even offer me close to that.
Right. Right.
And I probably wouldn't be able to sell it outright for that. Yeah, it's just a racket.
Yeah, I mean my based on what my tax value was on the on my registration, it's like my car's worth half of what I paid for it.
Yeah, your car's much newer than mine.
Mine's a 2020,
Yeah,
and
mine's a
according
2012. The
and
taxes shouldn't be too much on that car.
yeah, so their value of the car is
Right. Yeah. Where do they base their? I researched this like a year or two ago because I'm like, how do they get? Where do they get the? And I could not get. I just ran in circles for like 2 hours on Google because I could not get a definitive answer. It's
yeah.
not like Kelly Blue Book. It's like their own little system.
Well, that gives them plenty of wiggle room.
Oh
So
yeah,
they all
absolutely.
they do is next year when you have to re-register it or however long it lasts for, I'm not sure. Maybe the value will be the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
So uh, they can charge instead of paying less over time, they could keep hitting you at that same rate. I can't believe that the tag office is separate. I didn't realize that. Who are the owners of the tag
Well, I mean,
office?
I don't. I mean, it's got to be some sort of state involved, I would assume, but
Yeah,
that's why
because
they're always in like shopping centers and stuff like that. They're always in like a strip mall,
yeah,
like the one in. I think there's one in like Harrisburg. It's like off the main drag. You actually have to go down the alley
oh yeah,
behind it to get into it, and it's just like in a little tiny strip mall or just a
yeah, huh,
building or
yeah,
a storefront or whatever that you go in and
yeah.
yeah, it's a screwy deal. It's always a pain in the ass.
Did you ever go into the one in Mooresville downtown?
I don't think I ever went to that one. I always went to the one in Lincolnton.
The one in Mooresville downtown, it's closed now for whatever reason they decided to close it. Tiny little room. It would be packed in there. People were just standing there elbow to elbow. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Absolutely crazy. I hated going there. and just never knew. I never asked the question, can I go anywhere else? Because I would have gone straight to Lincolnton.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I went to Lincolnton. Like I said, there was 5 ladies sitting there, and they were not. They knew their stuff, and they made it quick. Either you got it all together or you don't. Here's what you need. Next.
Yeah, I remember when I went to Lincolnton to take my motorcycle test.
Oh, no kidding.
And I drove over there real early in the morning.
Yeah.
Like not super early, but I'll go. I'm like, I'm going to get there before they open because
Yeah.
I'm riding it. And obviously, I'm riding it. And if there's anybody outside that works there, they're going to say, well, he wrote it in. So he was riding illegally.
Right.
And so I went over there early and I pull into the place and 2 cars pull in right behind me. And
No
so
kidding.
I pull over into a parking spot and they park and they get out. In North Carolina, they almost wear like a looks like a police uniform.
Right. Right.
And they get out and they walk and I'm like, shit. So I waited till they went in and I just rode home and I said, well, I can't come back tomorrow.
Yeah.
But I'll wait like a week and I'll go back and I'll just get there even earlier. So that's what I did.
No kidding. That's
And,
funny.
Yeah. Because in North Carolina,
Mhm.
I forget. Like I'm like, well, how do you? There was no permit at the time. You couldn't get a motorcycle permit in North Carolina. And I'm like,
Wow.
well, how do you practice? They're like in parking lots and stuff. I'm like, well, that's safe. Yeah,
Yeah,
and then
really.
throw me on 77, with a tractor trailer passing me that I've never experienced this in my life.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was saying we went out yesterday again and looked at the one house a second time. I wanted to see it a second time.
Okay.
And we looked at one other house, and we're really not doing well as far as other houses. We found this one house that we like, and everything else has either been in a sketchy neighborhood or it's like a box. It's like a freaking box.
Yeah.
With no character, no redeeming qualities, and
Right.
and in this price range, like if we had another 20 or 30,000, we could probably get into a whole new,
Yeah.
and this one house we're looking at, they're asking too much for it. They're asking, well, and it's too much for us at the asking price. They'd have to come down about 10 grand.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I don't know. It's a
How
weird,
long
we're not ready to put an offer in on it, but
Yeah.
if we don't find something else, we would like to at least make an offer on the place. And if they say no, then they say no.
Right. Right.
It's been on the market for quite a while. So,
Okay.
but going back a second time, and Bert went with us both times, and I mean, it looks like a solid house.
Yeah.
There's, any old house is going to have, I forget what year that was built in. The 50s, I think, maybe.
Okay.
But it's been on the market so long. But what we found out from our realtor through the realtor in Lenore
Mm-hmm.
is that the people won't show the house. They keep, because they don't want to be there, but they won't leave. So it's only when they're not there will they let somebody come look at the house. And
Wow.
that gives me a little bit of room for concern, too. It's
Yeah.
like, do they actually want to sell this place, or are they just testing the waters? And if they get the right price, then they can, move to their retirement community in Florida or whatever they want to do.
Right. Right.
And it, it does not look like they've made any effort to even attempt to start packing for a move. So it's like, well, are they going to be? Because it looks like they're in their late 60s, early 70s, based on the pictures that we saw in the house.
Okay.
So it's like packing up a whole house in 30 days, because usually, I mean, you close within 30 days. You either close at the beginning or the end of the month, ideally for a buyer, Because I think if you close at a certain time, like you like kind of skip a month's payment, like that first month, you don't have to pay just the way the dates fall. So it gives you, after you've spent all this fucking money getting it, inspected and pest inspection and this and that, you get a little bit of a breather for a month. But of course, that's a problem here too, because we're under lease until the end of July here.
Oh, I see.
So, and
Right.
so we're going to be in for at least a couple of months rent here.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't surprise me, the management company that takes care of this property, takes care of it. I don't know if I'd go that far, but it wouldn't surprise me if they just drug their feet and waited till our lease was done before they, because they're already guaranteed to get the rent through the end of July.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, we like the house.
Okay.
But we'd like to see a couple others that we like too, like kind of so you're like, well, this one's got that and this one's got this and which one's more important in the area that because we really like the Lenore area from what we've seen of it.
Yeah. Lenore that's in the Piedmont, so that's at the base of the mountains, right?
Yeah. It's literally probably an hour and a half from the cabin.
Oh, okay.
So it's much closer. I mean, it's an hour and 15 from here. So, so it's, not that, it's not my cabin. So it's not like I just being that close, I can go anytime I want, but,
right.
But yeah, just knowing that, if we did go up, it's, just an hour and a half. That's a easy trip, Not that it's not, it's only, 2.5 hours from here, but.
Right.
So it's not an awful trip or anything, but yeah, knowing that if they end up moving up there, we'd be at least about as close as we are now to them. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, we just haven't seen anything else that's just kicked our ass. Now we want to go look at one. We already went up into past Shelby. There's a little town called Spindale.
Oh, okay.
And we drove up there and looked at a few places in Shelby, and then we went up towards Spindale and looked at some places, and it was very, very depressing.
Oh, no kidding.
I'm like, just kind of run down. Like these people, they wanted to move to the mountains, but they couldn't quite afford it, and now they're stuck there. Just kind of run down, depressing. And I'm like, I don't want to live somewhere where it's run down and depressing.
Yeah.
But we found another house up there that looks pretty nice.
Uh-huh.
And the cool thing about this house, and we're going to go see it as soon as we can, as long as it doesn't sell or something. Right. It's got a second house.
Really?
A small little house that they actually was a beauty salon. Small beauty salon.
Okay.
Now there's no pictures of the little house. It just says needs a little TLC or a little work. So that could mean that it's a piece of shit. I mean, there's pictures of the outside and it doesn't look bad from the outside,
Right.
But if it's just nasty inside. But what's cool about it is it's got its own little parking lot.
Really?
Out front. And it'd be like, there's Trainwreck Studios, man.
Yeah.
My own little building for Trainwreck Studios. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Oh, that would be.
Because that's kind of what we've been looking for, is something with a basement or something with a outbuilding that's, climate controlled, or a big enough house where, like, where I can have a room like this, that I can call my studio.
Yep.
But, that's the problem with some of these houses, like in Gastonia. There's just nothing. The houses that are in our price range, they're basically just, 2-bed, 1-bath, no garage, no basement. I mean, they're all the same. It's just the way they built the houses in this town, back then. because we're not looking at. Now we did find a place. We found 2 places we really like to buy. One is in Lenore, and it's an actual building in Lenore downtown.
Okay.
And they just dropped it 50,000.
Wow.
So for 550,000,
Oh.
we could buy this building. It's really neat though, because it's actually like this. You've got a downstairs, and there's actually a basement that looks pretty clean. It's not redone or anything, but you could do something with it if you want. If nothing else, storage.
Right.
But you could actually have a business on the first floor, and on the second floor they've redone it all into an apartment, but it's like industrial, like it's exposed, duct work and stuff like that, and they did a really good job with it. It's really cool.
Yeah.
And then they actually, up on the roof, they built a deck up on the roof, so you can go up on the roof and grill out, or
Oh my gosh.
it's really neat. It's really neat. Of course, that's so far out of our price range, but
it sounds it.
But if you had a business or were looking to open a business, you could live right there and have your business. And
yeah, that's awesome.
Now the other place that Kyle found is in Shelby, and it's like a castle,
No
and it's
kidding.
$3.9 million.
Oh, great!
And you ought to see this place. It's ridiculous. Like, it's beautiful. It's gorgeous.
How old is it?
We're trying to figure out who the hell in Shelby even had that kind of money to build this place. But I mean, on the inside, it's like I mean, they got like all this old style like furniture, and it's just it's unreal. It's unbelievable. And I asked the realtor the other day yesterday. I said, well, Kyle did. I talked to Kyle about it. I said, I wonder if we could just book like a showing so we could just go in and see it. And but no. Places like that take prior approval. They don't want Flotsam and Jetsam like us going in, because they know we ain't buying it.
Yeah.
I said, but if they would let us, we just like fill the car up. We'd get that old Volvo running over there, and we'll get like 6 people to sit in the back and just show up with like 14 people to go in and see the place.
Yeah, really.
Awesome.
But
that's joking. But that little building would be neat if but it's a lot of money.
Yeah, yeah. The idea of buying an old building in a downtown area that's always intrigued me.
Yeah, it'd be cool, and I mean, we'd have to build an elevator.
Yeah,
because Kyle wouldn't be able to go up and down any stairs like that. But
yeah, that's true. They're usually steep stairs.
But yeah, put a small elevator in.
Mm-hmm.
Allergies are kicking my ass today. This weather's been weird here.
Yeah, when I was in Mooresville, I had to run into a Publix grocery store and get a package of Claritin gel, the gel tablets, and because man, I was getting lightheaded and kind of dizzy, and my nose had been stuffed up all day, and I thought, oh hell, I don't need this to turn into something weird. I just want to shake off this allergy crap I got going on right now.
Right. Well, none of that stuff seems to work for me, so I don't take it. I buy it for Kyle to take, but
yeah,
it actually works for her. But
yeah, it did work, so I was happy with that.
I mean, nothing I've tried so far does. So
yeah,
but yeah, just looking at the houses and trying to find them.
Yeah,
but it's we've gone out twice, and still. The one we call it the barn house because it's kind of shaped like a barn. And actually found the first time we looked at it, the upstairs, has got like you open a door and it's kind of like an attic room, but it's big enough for like you could almost put a little tiny podcast studio in there.
Oh,
and make it real neat.
okay. Yeah.
Um, but you know, we're not sure about the wiring up there. They have an old fuse box that takes the glass fuses,
Oh, really?
but according to them, it's not nothing's running off that anymore because there's a newer fuse box outside
Yeah.
that everything's running off. So
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's definitely it would be concerning. You just want proof. I want to know that this meets code.
yeah, well, the other realtor, the one that actually the realtor for the actual house, her husband's a contractor, and I guess they're going there Friday. And I guess her and our realtor have worked together before, so they like each other. And she's going to
Yeah.
try to get some answers for us as far as the wiring goes. But, you know, is it grounded and
Uh-huh.
this and that? Because she said a couple times, you know, well, you'd find that out during the inspection. And I said, yeah, but I'm trying to avoid spending $300 or $400 to find out an answer that I technically should be able to get before that happens.
Yeah.
You know,
Sure. I don't blame you.
because you know I'd want to look into it. Like, what does it take to you know, because I'd be plugging in computer and studio equipment and stuff. I don't want to be plugging that into something that's going to fry something.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I know
Um,
you want to be up to code, that's for sure.
yeah, like I started. I was just for the hell of it. I was looking at electronic drums earlier,
Uh-huh.
just because that house, the upstairs, there's room for the drums, but being
Yeah.
in an upstairs, it's like, man, the sound's going to carry even more than it would be in a downstairs room. And
Uh,
you know,
okay.
what if the neighbors start calling the cops every time I play?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I just was looking and seeing what was out there and what kind of price range. And I
Yeah.
checked out an Alesis kit. I don't know the model number or anything, but it's like the mesh head one. And they're
Okay.
actual like drum shells. They're not real deep, but
Yeah, I got you.
they're double headed. And they were pretty nice looking. They were red sparkle, and they had like the. I don't think the hoops were. I think the hoops might have been black, but the actual lugs were gold, so it kind of had a nice effect.
I see.
They
Okay.
were $2,500, and I watched a little video, and
Oh, okay.
they sounded pretty good and stuff.
Well, at
And then
that price,
I was starting to
yeah.
look at a Roland kit. Now this is at your higher end, $6,400.
Wow.
Like $2,500 is manageable, but $6,400 is, whew.
Wow. That's, ooh, man, I hate that things have gone up that high.
Yeah. Well, this is top end.
Right. Yeah,
This is
Roland.
like what you know a
Mm-hmm.
professional would use to gig out with if they use electronics. Yamaha has one for 4,600. I didn't get a chance to watch the video on that one. And these were
Yeah.
all like mesh head. They looked like drums. You know, they weren't the rubber pads or anything.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
nothing I'd be,
Yeah.
you know, nothing I'm considering doing right away. And I think if
Right.
I went that route, because like I said, the thing that holds me back from selling the drums is all the cymbals.
Yeah.
You know, because cymbals are just so expensive now.
Oh, yeah.
Like if I sold these cymbals, I'd be done because I'd never be able to replace them. So
Yeah.
if I end up deciding to go that route, I would probably hold on to the cymbals and sell everything else,
Yeah. I don't
because
blame.
that way it would be, you know, you could actually transition back to an acoustic kit if you wanted, you know,
Mhm. Yeah.
because you'd have all the cymbals. I mean, you'd have to rebuy hardware and stuff like that, but that's all that stuff you could afford or is
Yeah.
manageable. You know, like when a freaking splash cymbal is going for $220.
No
You
kidding.
know, crashes are like $400 and $500. I mean, you can get them cheaper, but you know, you get what you pay for when it comes to cymbals.
Wow.
It's not like drum shells. You know, yeah, if you buy the, uh, Gretsch or something like that, as opposed to, like the lower end PDPs like I have. Yeah, I'm sure there's a big difference in the sound, but you can still get a shell pack for under $1,000.
Yeah.
That sound good. I'm not probably going to be out touring or anything ever at this point in my life.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
But
I
there was
know.
if you get online, check out. I think it's called Varus. They're
Okay.
custom drums.
All right.
They're pretty cool. They got some really neat finishes too.
Oh yeah, I'll do that.
Um,
It's always interesting to see some who the new kid on the block is.
yeah, and you're talking about. It was hard to find prices on all of them, but I
Yeah.
think the cheapest I saw was like $2,500 or $2,600.
Okay.
And then there was some up there in like the $5,000 range. So, and you're talking about just the drums.
Yeah.
So they're not cheap.
No. No.
Did you hear about
Yeah.
this Wendy's thing that was going on?
Wendy's?
Wendy's, yeah.
What are the brilliant people at Wendy's doing?
They came out and said that they were thinking about testing a thing called dynamic pricing.
Oh God, what is that?
That's basically it. Like at lunchtime and dinner time, we're going to jack the prices up because that's when everybody's eating.
No
and
shit.
The rest of the time, yeah, because that's kind of
And
like what Uber does. Like it's like hotels have been doing it forever. When there's a special event in town, they jack their freaking rates up. And I'm like,
Oh,
I'm surprised that they haven't, tried to do this sooner. But apparently they gotten a lot of backlash over it. And so the CEO
rate.
came out and said that they aren't going to do that.
It's a variable rate during the day.
Yeah. Yeah, so
Wow.
like you're probably from 11:30 to 1 or something like that, or 1:30 when most people are on their lunch break and want to go grab a cheap meal. They're going to raise the prices.
Well, I
like
think
a chicken sandwich might be $3.50 normally. Well, they're going to raise it up to like $8.50.
Well, what I'm thinking is, what if it's a more remote location and there is no standing in line? There is nobody coming in with like 6 bags. They want 6 bags full of Chick-fil-A because there's just so many people that want it. And what is that, DoorDash?
Yeah.
It's like, no. I want to write down what their rates are now before they go to that. And then when I go there and it's not packed.
Yeah, just buy a shitload of food and just go next door and sell it to people at a reasonable price, and you're still making money.
Yeah. Or I'm going to go in and I'm going to buy some of the lower end meals and I want to negotiate them down. And that's during like let's say I'm 35 minutes before the lunch hour really kicks in. It's like I'm here early. I'm going to be a quick sale. No fuss, no muss. You're going to have me only in here sucking up your air for a couple of minutes. So therefore, I want to negotiate the price down on this.
Yeah.
There's my what do they call it? Dynamic. What'd you say?
I say just this is what you charge for your hamburgers, and this is what you charge for your hamburgers all day long, open to close. You don't raise the price. I mean, the whole fast food thing is getting out of hand, anyways.
Yeah.
I mean, they've forgotten their place in the restaurant industry.
Yeah, they sure have.
They think that and they're hurting their core base. I mean, millionaires aren't. I mean, they might they might just love Big Macs and they're eating Big Macs all the time. But I mean, they can afford to go eat at decent restaurants, and their kids might want a Happy Meal or something. But even if Happy Meals were $25 a piece, they've got money, so it doesn't hit them in their pocket.
They can afford to do it.
Right. So it's just greed. It's just
sure.
these companies are just oozing greed. And the
Yeah, well,
CEO of Wendy's is probably making $5 million a year.
it's like, well, okay. So how do we make this work for us? That's what they're looking at. How do we, you know, be on the cutting edge here? How do we make it work for us?
Yeah, well, a lot of people were like, okay, so are you going to pay your employees a higher wage during these dynamic hours when all your food is higher?
Yeah,
Well, of course not.
yeah, really.
No, the whole point of this is for us to put more money in our pockets, not more money in our employees' pockets.
Yeah, that's so silly.
Yeah, it
Now,
is. It's,
what I'd say to them is, why don't you look at your business and determine where you're wasting money? How could you fine tune your business to a point where you feel like, hey, by fine tuning, we found that we are wasting money here and there. Fix that problem, and now you'll start making that increase without actually hurting your customer because you figured out what you were doing wrong and you upped your game on your end of it without affecting what I'm going to pay.
yeah. We're all control. Just I'm like, if Wendy's does that, then I just won't go to Wendy's anymore. I already won't go to McDonald's anymore because they've jacked their prices up too high.
Yeah,
Now, and we don't eat fast food a lot, but I won't go to McDonald's anymore. I just won't. Now they've gotten a lot of backlash over their prices too because they've jacked their prices up so high that now they're saying that they're going to lower their prices back to a reasonable. I'm sorry, but I don't care if it's a double Big Mac or not, but an $18 burger, fries, and drink at McDonald's is ridiculous.
No, that's so not what it was all imagined to
No, it's
be.
supposed to be convenient, fast, and cheap.
Yeah, I
The
remember
convenience has gone away because they're not fast anymore and they're not cheap anymore. That's my thing. Wendy's, how about figure out your employee training program and pay a decent wage, because the Wendy's that I went to last time had like 30 cars in the drive-thru, and I had been to that Wendy's before and gone through the drive-thru when there was only 4 cars in the drive-thru, and it still took a half an hour to get through.
Yeah, that's sad.
I think I told you about it. I actually said, screw this. I'm going to go in and just buy it inside.
Yeah,
and I got out, and when all the doors were locked, it's like, you don't have enough people to run the freaking dining room and it's drive-through only. I'm like, are you kidding me? And now, and I know this isn't every Wendy's. This town, for some reason, has a real hard time being. They're subpar compared to any. You go to another town and you go to a Wendy's or a Dunkin' Donuts and you get like, oh, the Dunkin' Donuts. It's tastes like Dunkin' Donuts. You go to the one here and it's like, did they put half coffee and then fill the rest of it up with water?
Yeah, that's very strange.
And the whole point of a franchise is this is how we do things, so it's consistent. You could be, in Boston where Dunkin' Donuts started and go, this is I like Dunkin' Donuts coffee, so I go to Florida and I go to Dunkin' Donuts. It's supposed to taste exactly the same as it does in Boston.
Yeah, exactly. As a matter of fact, I went by the very first Dunkin' Donuts one time when I was up there.
Yeah.
It was kind of funny. There was a sign out front. This is the first one. This numero uno. So the whole point is they've totally lost sight of what they're doing, and they're getting subpar people working there. They obviously don't know what they're doing. I don't know if they're giving them any training. It's like, here, you do this, this, and this. That's your job.
Yeah, and part of it is people just don't give a shit anymore. This is a shitty job, so I'm going to give you shitty service.
And
that's a whole other ball of wax that I'm not going to get into now. But like, if when you took the job, you knew this was what you were getting paid, and you knew this was what the job was. So if you're unhappy with that, then don't take the job. Quit, leave, go somewhere else.
Yeah, go somewhere else.
You're not hurting your employer or the company that you work for.
Yeah.
By giving customers bad service. You're hurting the customers who work hard for their money as well. And they just, want to get dinner for their family.
Yeah, they're working, but they broke away from work. They got a few minutes and they want to get in and get out. You're not allowing that to happen. So they should never come back there again. You
Right.
screwed up that one day where they had to go, screw it, I got to go back to work. I'm not eating, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I would take that to the bank. I really would. I'd be like, I am never walking in that door again. There's a particular store here on the main drag. That main drag runs all the length of Florida, and so it's a busy road. So there is a Family Dollar store that I've been frequenting, and there is a competitor across the road. I went to the competitor first because there was a time that they were really the sharpest of those small little convenience stores. They
Yeah.
really, and I went to the self checkout and absolutely failed. I could not get it to work. I couldn't get anybody to come and help me, and I literally left the few things that I had sitting on the counter and left. I'm like,
Yeah.
I can't, this is not working for me. So the other night, just out of the blue, we needed to stop. So there was that store. I'm like, okay, I'll go in and just get a few things. And I went to the checkout and my card failed. And I'm like, what's going on? She said, well, here, try it again, blah, blah, blah. And it failed. Well, let's go down to the other register. So we had to pick up all this stuff, go down to the other register and struggled through it to get it to go. And in my mind, I'm thinking, I already said I was never going to come back to this store. And here I am again.
Yep.
And even the woman behind the counter can't get it to work right. And I'm like, what am I doing in here? I feel
Yeah.
so stupid that I came in here.
Yep. It's
Um,
ridiculous.
the good old Family Dollar. It's a better lit store. It's just it's really well managed. The people in there really hustle. It's all the same faces. It's not like you go in and see a different face every time.
Right.
They apparently want that job,
Yeah, because
need,
they're probably treated right. And
and the store represents it. The other place is just like the, the, no, it doesn't work. As soon as I walk in the door, it's like, no, this doesn't work.
yeah.
You get a vibe when you walk in a place, and that's the first word that hits me in the head is no. I'm getting
Yeah.
out of here.
Yeah. It sucks to spend your money at a place that you absolutely don't want to spend your money at. But for one reason or another, you don't have a choice.
Yeah, really. Imagine being in management, being, you've got the big desk. That's where the buck stops. You're sitting at the big desk. I wouldn't be sitting at the big desk. I'd be going from store to store to store to store, walking around and going, evaluating.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want anybody with me. I wouldn't let the people know who I am unless, my picture is plastered all over the place on the bulletins they get or whatever.
Right.
But I would literally just go in the stores everywhere. And to me, that's the way to manage. You don't manage from a main office in
No.
and you're just barking orders. It's like hell no. Get in your car and go drive to all
Yeah.
your locations that are making you all making your deal $900 million a year or whatever.
Right. Go see what the little guy does. Well, DanLee, I guess we need to call this one an episode.
Cool.
We're about at that time. I think my
Yeah.
camera's going to run out of batteries shortly, so.
Okay. I got you.
But definitely thanks for bailing me out tonight.
Oh man, I enjoyed it. I'm
Calling
glad
in and
yeah.
I had a plan for the podcast, but I hadn't completely finalized my notes, and I'm like, God, it's going to end up being 8:00 before I record tonight, and
Oh
I
yeah.
gotta edit it
Yeah.
tonight, and so I can post it tomorrow. And I'm like, and
Yeah.
I had to ask
Anytime.
Mom a question, and then I said, "Well, shit, I don't know. I figured you might be tired from all the traveling, and you know." But I
Oh,
said,
well,
I'll see if he's up for it.
yeah. The traveling was interesting. I mean, the highways were running good. I mean, my route up through Florida, scooting
Yeah.
around, scooting around Jacksonville, up 95, 26 to Columbia, South Carolina, and then straight to Charlotte, on 77. So pretty easy route, and it was easy going up and easy coming back.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. Now, on the 4th of July weekend, that all goes to hell.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Everybody's at the beach and they're coming home.
Yep.
It's like, watch out.
Yep. Don't even try it.
Yeah, don't stay away.
But,
So, well, good deal.
well, all right. Well, thanks again for calling in,
Okay.
and don't hang up. I'll talk to you after for a second.
Okay, great.
But thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. If you do, I am the kid.
And I'm DanLee.
We'll catch you next time.